is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Brad and I are doing another ranking list for Marvel Champions. This time we are going to be doing the villains. These are all the villains that have been released up to the Rise of Red Skull campaign, because I don't believe any have been released since.
I think the next one that'll be coming out will be within the new big box.
The Galaxy's Most Wanted, is that what it's called?
Because there isn't any set before that.
Okay. Is Star-Lord coming out before the Galaxy's Most Wanted?
Because Galaxies will be out. It should be the next thing out.
Oh, okay. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. So, and then probably then we might do another hero ranking list, because there's been quite a few that have come out. Like probably another
Ant-Man, Wasp, Scarlet Witch,
Quicksilver, Star-Lord, Groot, Rocket, yeah?
And
Hawkeye, and then
Hawkeye,
Gamora, Hawkeye, and Spider-Woman.
Yeah, there's a bunch of junk.
Yeah, there's junk. You know, why are we doing this? They're all zeros. All right, so in terms of the villains, here's what I'm gonna say. I was surprised. So we did the same thing. You know, we've played against every villain and matched it up. I think we both ranked them on how much we enjoyed playing them.
Yes.
Versus, I mean, I threw in kind of like how they play, of course, but that kind of translates into my enjoyment, of course. In my experience, I don't know how you are, I found what was surprising, a lot of the villains to actually suck.
Suck as in, like, just be bad or just be
that I'm just like, wow, kind of like, this is a very subpar villain. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely going to show in my ranking, because whenever, we talked about this with the hero one, like, what I personally enjoy, like, about the heroes was the cool card combos and stuff like that. About the villains, what I want from them is ways for them to make me change how I play. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of how I ended up ranking them.
Yeah, and that'll show in mine as well.
Okay.
A lot of it just depends on their, as well as that, what you just said, but their personal, like, schemes and side schemes.
Oh, yeah.
Think about Marvel Legendary.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, they have those, the scheme plot twist or scheme
True.
twist or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what these are for them, and every hero has their own. So that's how they bring the theme into it.
True. Okay.
So those kind of go into it as well.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna have 11 crossover. So
maybe
you're like, this one was so bad it doesn't count. you only have. There are 11 as of right now.
And some would say 12. There's a whole deal with the Green Goblin, because there's two scenarios, so there's two versions of the Green Goblin. But
sure.
I've combined them into just
combined them as well, because it's still the Green Goblin.
Right.
Like, really, it's one of the scenarios is more the traditional villain, mm-hmm. that it's just the Green Goblin.
And the other one's a flipping one.
A flip with Norman and the Green Goblin. So yeah, that's a good point. But we combined it. All right, so let's start with my number 11. I'm curious at how many we will have in ranking order, in terms of, like, number crossover.
I don't know.
Probably none,
because we haven't really played, like, it's not like we've played it together a whole lot.
Yeah,
I think we played against Claw together, but that's been it.
That is it, yeah.
So I don't know.
And I've played against all of these actually, obviously the ones from the Rise of Red Skull I have done only against Hawkeye, and then some of them have just been different. So I wonder if the villain rankings would change depending on who you play them against.
Possibly, and that's why this is kind of a subject to change kind of thing.
Sure.
Just like this one would be more of a fluid, possible changing of ranking more than the heroes.
Yeah.
Because these guys will change depending on who you're going at them against.
True.
Like the deck building and stuff. The heroes will be kind of
the same, yeah. Okay, awesome. So my number 11 is one of the ones that came from the original base game that I, after playing him again, I was like, this is easily the starter villain to play against, and it's Rhino. Rhino, I felt, was he's not bad. And here's the thing, none of the villains are bad. Like, I don't think any of them are broken or any of them are, like, too hard to beat. Like, all of them have a great level of challenge. He is just extremely one note. He's a big guy, he hits hard, and he gets a tough status card. And that was it.
He's the one I always play Expert Rhino against the new deck.
Yeah.
because that's just when I'm trying out Scarlet Witch. That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
You know, once I get her sleeved up, I'm gonna play Expert Rhino.
Right.
Because that way I can see it's the same.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly. And so I mean, I on the scale of like the villains, like I gave him like a 4 out of 10. It's just he doesn't do anything for me, and theme didn't really come into it with these guys. But whenever I'm looking to play the like Marvel Champions, I don't want to play against Rhino. Like I don't think there's a single hero that Rhino can beat in this entire, besides maybe Hawkeye, just because he sucks ass. But even then, it's like Rhino's just a big guy, and Hawkeye has range, so it's like, all right, never mind. He doesn't really fit. He makes sense a little bit for a Spider-Man villain, but he almost seems like a joke against Spider-Man as well.
He's a good tutorial villain.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's what he was meant for. Like he's the tutorial when you first open that box and run through the teaching tutorial. It's Rhino, and that's
what I'm saying. He's not bad. He definitely is great for that. But in comparison to the other 10, I thought he was just kind of subpar. So that's my number 11, Rhino.
Okay, my number 11 was one of the earlier scenario packs that came out, and I wasn't too thrilled about it because I didn't really care for the content as much. Okay. I didn't know a whole lot about them, but then when I played with them, they were very fiddly because you have stuff dealing with all the different deals, and that's the Wrecking Crew.
I was like, well, you're saying they, so that's definitely the Wrecking Crew.
I just don't care for the Wrecking Crew. Like, the theme, I like Marvel. I'd never heard of these people.
I have no idea who they are either.
And
I feel like I've heard of the main guy who's on the box.
Yeah.
He almost looks like Juggernaut, but he's not.
But it's like, and then when I play this solo, I think it would be better, possibly, playing multiplayer.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, that's just a guess because I have never played against. Most of these, mind you, I've played totally solo.
Same.
Either one hero or two heroes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Besides, I think the only time I've ever played a multiplayer was when you and I took on Claw. When you were testing out Black Widow.
Yeah.
And then I played with a friend of mine, my para.
Okay.
And we played against Rhino.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's solo. So I don't know if Wrecking Crew could be better with multiple people because you have all of them out there and you're having to deal and you're keeping track of all that stuff.
Sure.
But
I thought they did a pretty good job managing with the Wrecking Crew because only one person's ever you'll only ever draw an encounter card for one.
I mean, that's fine. I guess, I don't know.
They're just lame as hell.
I think if it would have been...
that's true, actually. Rhino could probably beat someone here. I can't see the Wrecking Crew beating anyone.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a challenge that much either. Yeah. That was the thing. It was like, I played Justice Iron Man, and it just was just breeze,
a joke,
and stuff. So I don't know really how to attempt them unless now I haven't tried the super highest level of it because they came out then the fact with all the high next super high level that you can create, but I don't know. It was just they just didn't do it for me a whole lot.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. All right, neat. On a scale of 1, did you do a scale of 1 to 10 for them?
I didn't do.
Okay.
If I was going to do it, I'd probably say 3, 4, or something like that.
All right, my number 10 is extremely interesting because I like him as a villain in the actual, the actual MCU. He was just horrible because that movie was trash. But in terms of like the actual comics that I do know a little bit about, he's really cool. But I feel like they misinterpret him as a villain and his power. Like he's very underwhelming, and that's Ultron.
Interesting.
I think Ultron, because in Ultron he gets pretty god tier in like especially early comics. Because funny enough, I was just watching because they have there's a YouTube video called like Comics Explained, and he just goes over and I was looking at he was doing the 1984 Secret Wars, and he was expressing how powerful Ultron was, and whenever they're all transported to like this battle planet, like he goes to attack, and then like Galactus just it evaporates them. And like it was a big deal because Ultron was super strong. I don't feel like he's super strong. All he does, like literally the notes, because I took notes for each of the villains, all I put was lots of droids, and lots of droids. And that's all he does. Oh, take the top of your deck and put it in front of you. It's a droid.
Yeah, turn it into a
1-1.
drone.
Yeah, drone. Yeah.
Wheel or whatever.
Yeah, it's a 1-1 drone, and then like his effects play off of that. Once again, none of these are bad. Like, if I were to play Rhino, I wouldn't have a bad time. If I were playing against Ultron, I wouldn't have a bad time. I was just like, wow, I feel like he doesn't do anything, but his drones do all the work. And it's just, all right, like, he does that.
Yeah,
so,
I know he's hard.
He is challenging.
Yeah.
In the solo scenarios that I've played, he's actually the only one I've lost against.
Yeah,
Granted, I was playing Quicksilver, and I was just like,
Right.
like redding a bunch, but I couldn't do enough damage to kill him.
Cool, because it's like a bunch of, if you get enough of those drones out, and then when you're on phase 2 of him,
Yeah.
then he gets +1 attack for each drone that's out. So
Right.
he just turns into, it just gets nuts.
Yeah,
after
he's
that.
an interesting villain because, like, if let's see, if you because they're never really a problem. They're just kind of there. They don't have guard. They're like there's nothing that's preventing you from just attacking Ultron. But if you let them get out of hand, then it's just like
Right.
okay, well that's 20 damage, and there's nothing I can do about
or
that.
a bunch of scheme.
Yeah.
Depending on
Yeah.
It's just
But in terms of actually playing against, I didn't feel there was really any creativity. It was just, okay, he kind of mills your deck into drones. All right. That's, once again, not bad. I gave him a 5 out of 10. That's pretty average. So that's my number 10, Ultron.
all right. My number 10 was another one that I really hadn't heard a whole lot about, and I looked through his deck before I played it, and there was a lot of promise
Okay.
there, but then it just ended up being a super simple guy to beat, and it didn't go, and it was Absorbing Man.
Absorbing Man.
You look through that deck, and it's like, oh, this could be pretty interesting and all that stuff, and it just didn't gel. You know, like it was just kind of a simplistic. I mean, again, super simple to beat the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he is the second one you fight, I
Right.
think, in the Rise of Red
you
Skull.
do Crossbones
Crossbones
and him,
first,
the Taskmaster. But he just didn't seem. And now, mind you, that the time I played against him was in the campaign, but I like to look through all the decks prior to
Sure.
playing, just to know what I could possibly have, what his minions look like, and stuff like that. And he looked cool. There's a lot of his stuff that looks cool.
Yeah.
It just doesn't translate as much of a challenge
Okay.
on the board, and that's why I didn't put it. I was like, I'd and like you just said, I'll play against all these guys.
Yeah.
Even the Wrecking Crew, but it just wasn't.
Yeah, in
exciting.
comparison to the other villains, there's...
Yeah.
Okay. It's weird because Absorbing Man, I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, I don't know either. Like,
Funny enough, he was also in that same video of the 1984. I guess Absorbing Man is completely underrated because he's incredibly powerful because he can turn his
deck
body.
doesn't show it.
Sure. Yeah, that's with Ultron, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like, your deck doesn't really show how powerful you can be. Because I guess Absorbing Man, like, he can just grab, like, adamantium and be like, oh, okay, now I'm just made out of this.
Oh, jeez.
And it's like, because that's kind of his whole shtick, he can turn his body into whatever he's touching.
Right.
But yeah, nope.
Well, and the thing with this list, as in my last 2 picks, were the ones I don't know hardly anything about.
Yeah.
And all the rest of these I know about. So it's like, I don't know if it's the theme, like not knowing them.
It definitely helps.
You're right. So since we're putting this in the list of fun type stuff, I'm gonna, since if I know the bad guy, I can kind of have that visual in my head of
True.
take him on. So that's why.
Right. Try and pick like oh man, that would be interesting if we did whatever Absorbing Man versus Spider-Man. I don't know. Now he's made out of your webs. It's like, oh no. All right. So my number 9 is actually the only one out of this villain ranking that I hadn't played prior to making this, and then I did play him. Is the Green Goblin. Kind of what you said about the Wrecking Crew. I actually felt him to be very fiddly, especially the risky business side, where it's just, oh, okay, so he's Norman Osborn, so he has this stupid criminal enterprise. Oh, I hit him for 20. That's all gone. Then it's like, okay, so now he flips, and now it's the Green
Goblin.
And now, then that goes away because he doesn't stay the Green Goblin the whole time. I'm just like, ugh, okay. And then there was one point where it was like I had a card that I played that was like, okay, remove like the villain schemes and then deal damage. But then I was like, okay, so it's Green Goblin, so he schemes, which means that card is, and it ran out, so that means does it immediately flip? Oh, now it's Norman Osborn, so it gets some criminal enterprise, and deal 4 damage, so I guess, okay, it was just, it was annoying. And I, first of all, similar to Rhino, I was playing Scarlet Witch at the time of playing the Green Goblin, and it was just like, no, the Green Goblin is not doing jack shit against the Scarlet Witch. And actually, that was one where it was the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. It's just like, dude, you suck. You suck. Spider-Man villains suck. Like, it is, at least the ones that they have out. The only one that is remotely interesting with Spider-Man is Mysterio. But yeah, I didn't. And then his other one was just, everyone. He just has a bunch of goblin minions.
One,
yeah. And I'm like, look, creativity isn't spamming the same fucking minion over and over. It was the same problem I had with Ultron. It was virtually the same with the mutagen one for Green Goblin. The only reason he's higher, I gave him a 6 out of 10, is because he does have 2 different ways to play against him.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's the only villain that has the identity.
Yes.
Too,
oh yeah, you're right. He does.
Yeah.
And it does kind of make you change the way you're playing whenever it is Norman versus the Green Goblin. And it's not that it's not challenging. Like, it is challenging. I'm just like, okay, one of yours is just completely one note, and the other one is kind of fiddly and annoying. But it was still better than Ultron and the Rhino, in my opinion. So that is my number 9.
All right, my number 9's already been talked about.
Oh, cool.
And it is Rhino.
Rhino.
And
getting hot in these rhinos.
Just like what you'd said, though, he's kind of the basic guy, but I like him just because he's my tester.
Yeah.
So I've played against him the most,
Mm-hmm.
and I've ramped him up as high as difficulty as you can, and he gets hard to beat.
Okay.
When you go up to the high deals, but
I can't even remember what you do with level 3, because we fought against Claw at, I think, level 2 and 3.
Yes.
And we ended up barely scratching out of the win.
Because Black Widow was having a badass game.
Yeah, she kills it. And then by the time she kills it, then Iron Man's like, oh, hey, here's my suit. Okay, now I'm god tier. But yeah, I don't, because you give them the level 2 and 3, identities, I guess. Do you add anything else into their decks?
No, but you can make it as hard as possible because you can. The FAQ has it doing, I think it's extra boosts cards.
Oh, okay.
Or something. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because I usually will just play the 3.
Yeah.
Like, that's the highest I'll generally get unless you want to go. And I think with Rhino, I've maxed it out before, but I want to say it's extra boosts, like event card, or extra adding boosts.
So, kind of speaking of that, because whenever they're going from their different levels, they never really change that much, except in terms of like, oh, their attack goes up by 1, and that was another thing that kind of bummed me out about the Green Goblin, is in the Risky Business one, whenever he goes to level 2, he gets like 36 health, and I'm like, that is just stupid. Like, oh, hey, we're gonna make him difficult by just giving him a bunch. He's a bullet sponge now, and I'm like, look, Ultron doesn't even get 36 health. Why the fuck does the Green Goblin get that? It was annoying. Yeah. Anyway, so
it's the when revealed effects of those types of cards are where I'm not speaking about Goblin necessarily, but going from 1 to 2 to 3, the when revealed on some of them are pretty rough. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So Rhino, sorry. No, and that was really about it. I mean,
okay.
There isn't much more to say. I mean, he's the most basic of the bad guys.
True.
And I have him up here at 9 just because he's a solid build,
Yeah. Okay, so. Awesome. My number 8 is the first villain that you fight in the Rise of Red Skull campaign, and that is Crossbones. So Crossbones is actually an interesting villain because he comes off once again as this is a regular guy. Like, this is just a dude. But I found like the enjoyment from him, and actually the Green Goblin and they're both 6 out of 10s, but Crossbones goes a little bit higher because he will change based on the weapons that come out.
Experimental.
Yeah, and I actually thought that was pretty cool. It was a good starter villain to jump into with the Rise of Red Skull, because it's like, because how is Crossbones going to stop us from chasing after, and stopping Red Skull. But then it's like, well, he has these fucked up weird weapons that, okay, we didn't plan on him having those. So the way that he actually adapts to he'll change whenever you're playing against him. I personally enjoyed. He's not. I mean, because if the villain's attacking or scheming and he has all these weapons on him, that creates a challenge, and then you have to use your cards to try and instead of using them, I'm going to spend them to discard them. Right. I personally enjoy that. So you actually have some thought in to take into consideration what the villain can do versus what you only can do. So I enjoyed him quite a bit. So that's my number 8, Crossbones.
Yeah, I like Crossbones. Because I like Punisher.
Oh yeah,
I like the human characters that use weapons and stuff.
Yeah,
so that's why he's kind of a cool guy. All right, my number 8.
It'd be cool if they did a Defender box, like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil. I mean, they easily could. Yeah.
I don't know what's happening after the Guardians of the Galaxy thread.
Well, let's follow what happened after Guardians in the MCU, because that's kind of.
Well, I'm just saying because I have a feeling that X-Men's getting ready to join the MCU, so get ready for that stuff to start hitting.
I mean, yeah, that'll be fine. I have a feeling they're gonna do, because Thanos is on the box. I have a feeling they're gonna do the kind of Thanos story arc, because that seems like what they're doing.
Yeah, because I have most of the heroes from Infinity War, don't they? They have Panther, and they have Cap, and they have Scarlet.
Yep. So
they don't have Vision, but he's like an
ally.
Yeah, they could have him as I don't know. Yeah, that would be kind of interesting to have a box about the Infinity.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Yeah. I mean, because in the Rise of Red Skull, you have the Soul Stone, whichever one in the comics that
Soul, I believe.
So they mention an Infinity, and that, I mean, it's spoiler, I guess, for the comic, but at the very end of the campaign, it's just like, oh man, that's an Infinity Stone. I wonder if there's any more out there, and it's like, yeah, okay, a little on the nose. So I have a feeling that's kind of what they're gonna do, which would be fine with me.
Oh, okay. My number 8. I fought with this one about making it higher than 8. I'd only played against it one time, and it was in a non-campaign setting, so it could be higher than this. That's Zola.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna jump on with you. Zola's my number 7.
Okay, Zola was interesting. There's a bunch of minion play.
I think he has the biggest villain deck.
Yeah,
he has 31 cards or something.
And I like that. I wrote down here that about the Hydra prison taking your allies, and stuff, which is kind of a neat thing. Yeah, because then when you defeat that scheme, then they go back into they go directly to your hand. Yeah, which is kind of a neat deal. So if they gets it, and then you can just bam, you have all these cards. Yeah, exactly. And stuff. Yeah. That was probably the coolest part of him. He doesn't have he was a little underwhelming as far as his own card. Yes, retaliate 1.
That's it.
And he was one attack, one scheme to attack was all. Yeah, and it was this almost. I think it was pretty much the same thing on all levels. I'm just that's all the creativity they could get. I mean,
Well, I mean, if you think about it, Zola's just he's just a scientist. He's just a Nazi scientist. So because I agree with you 100% there that he himself sucks, but his deck is intriguing. Right. And I think that's what they were going for, because Zola is just a guy who happened to program his brain, through the years. He lived past the Nazi era. Right. He's weirdly enough in the same vein as Crossbones and the Green Goblin and Ultron, because he has a bunch of minions, but what makes him cool is his theming and the fact that the minions are all experimental. They all are radically different based on what they do, because they've been experimented on. So I like that a little bit more than just the weapons or just the straight up drones, So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Zola's he's there, but he was weirdly hard. In our experience playing in the campaign, he was pretty challenging.
Well, he's my next person in the campaign to go up against, so we'll see how that rolls.
Who are you playing? Are you playing Hawkeye? Or are you playing?
I'm doing Justice Iron Man.
Gotcha. Have you played literally any other hero?
I do, but that's the one I'm going through it with him because that was the deck I was comfortable with, and I have built.
Gotcha.
And then I'm going to carry the pre-built decks
Gotcha.
through it too, because it's such an easy campaign to get. Not easy, but it's 5 games to get the campaign. So I just wanted to go through with the one deck I fine-tuned to see how it.
Yeah, Kat and I did it with shitty ass Hawkeye and cool Spider Woman. God, Hawkeye was just. If you can't tell, he might be my lowest in the new hero ranking.
I actually haven't even played Hawkeye yet. I need to play him.
He's fine. He's badass support if you have all his arrows in your hand. Mm-hmm. And once you waste all your arrows, he is the worst to play with because he doesn't do anything. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So Zola is my number 7. Also a 6 out of 10. So Zola, Crossbones, and Green Goblin, all 6s, but they increase based off their. That's where I tie broke it by theme, and so Zola was at least interesting to play against. So yeah, you're number 7.
All right, well my number 7 is one I was surprised it went this low because it's very creative, the deck and the space for it and everything, but after playing it. I've played against it multiple times solo, but I think it would shine in multiplayer.
Okay.
And that's Kang.
Oh, okay.
When you beat his first version, and then you break in that second, and there's all those different what they call
historical,
them,
it was like
the different
the time period.
Yeah, like there's those 4, right? Mm-hmm. When you play multiplayer. Because I read through the rules, I haven't played a multiplayer, but
yeah, same.
If you play with 4 players, God forbid you ever play this game with 4 players.
That's true.
But if you
they have 300 health and nothing else.
But if you play with 4 players, there's 4 different versions or whatever. Each person gets one, and then they're almost playing their own solo game. And then if you defeat your personal deal, then you have the option as soon as you defeat him to put your play space in with another person's play space and help them out with theirs. You can choose. Or because if you die in that, then you're out. But if the scheme goes off, then his Dominion ship goes into the final round, but you can still go and help somebody else then. It's so in solo play, you're only getting one of those.
Yeah.
And you can adjust it. You can take, if you played against the Egyptian one or whatever, you could not, purposely leave that one out to to change it up.
Yeah.
I think, though, that having the multiple players would make that cooler because then you could game it. Like if somebody was really struggling with theirs, you can beat yours, then go over and help them or whatever.
It's really cool because I feel like especially after playing all these villains and ranking them, they need to make the villains where multiplayer, you want to play multiplayer. Like right now, I play this solo or max 2. And funny enough, a friend of mine was like, what's the point of playing with more people? I'm like, well, there isn't one. The villains only get just stupid health. They become bullet sponges. Right. But no one's personal deck and no one's villain deck is intriguing enough to want to make the game last that long. Like I mentioned, Green Goblin at 2 players has 36 health, so then he gets 72. Fuck that. And you'd play it for the synergy of the players,
right.
But once again, that's not that fun. So I feel like with Kang, he is the only scenario that makes you, okay, yeah, let's play him with 4. That could be fun.
Right, but he is hard as hell. Some of those schemes he has.
Oh yeah,
it's just and then when he comes out at that level 3, he comes out, he's just a badass.
He's just sitting there in his ship and it's Star Destroyer,
because you have to take out the Dominion first, because you can't damage him if the Dominion's out.
Yep,
and then it just turns into this shit show.
Yeah, who did I play? I played against him recently. I feel like I did Doctor Strange. And that felt pretty good because Doctor Strange is like, I'm gonna combo all these spells and that's 90 damage.
Yeah, plus the dude has a T-Rex in his deck.
He does. Yeah, because he's broken up all throughout history.
Right.
Yeah, prehistoric and then there's futuristic, Egyptian. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What I have on my notes is weird deck, difficult, better multiplayer, and T-Rex.
Yeah, you gotta put the T-Rex in there.
Because it's very strange.
Yeah.
It's a the unique game or thinking to make this deck was pretty cool. It's just
once again a villain I knew nothing about.
I honestly didn't know a whole lot. The only reason he wasn't down there with the other ones I don't know anything about is because it's a cool design. There's
potential to go higher.
Yeah, it just, and again, like I said, it would be higher, but having that where having more people would make it the deck better type thing. I'm not playing this with more than one or two people, so that kind of kicks it down just a little bit. Okay. But still, it's really good. All these are solid, but
except Rhino, yeah. All right, my number 6 is the one that you and I have played together, and that is Claw. Claw is around. He's one of those villains that I'm just like, who is this guy? And I feel like I remember where he came from, but it's
the Masters of Evil.
Okay,
he's the leader of the Masters of Evil.
Okay. So I knew nothing about him, but as we were playing him, he was pretty challenging, but at the same time, here's the notes that I took. He's a defensive character, so he heals himself a lot, and he has like the cool like sound like defense where it's like, oh, he gains 10 health, and then but then if you like remove that scheme, then he loses.
Yeah, because that's the invincible claw is what it's called. And you have
he had the multiple ways to attack heroes. He had a lot of stuff that would attack your hand, attack your deck, and then obviously attack you. And then but at the same time, he was also just kind of boring. There was really nothing exciting about Claw himself. But at the same time, whenever it was you and I doing Black Widow and Iron Man, once again he was still extremely challenging. Granted, we did him at the level 2 and 3.
Level,
we did expert. But it's interesting. I kind of like the thematic tie-in to how he self-buffs himself. And then it's like, oh crap, okay, well we can either keep trying to attack him and whittle down that 10 damage and then get rid of the scheme, then he loses 10. Or, some of them are, okay, he just gains toughness, he gains all these different stats. Which I'm still surprised with how many they've released, they only still have the same 3 status cards.
Yeah, because it's probably just a whole different place. Because then they'd have to... If they put out another status card that worked with some that was already out, then they'd have to worry about rewriting cards and stuff. They probably won't ever come out with.
That's true.
They'll just use counters or something, probably.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, so Claw is kind of, I gave him a 6.5 out of 10. He's right in the middle of that pack. I would play him. I would actually enjoy playing him versus the ones below him a little bit more because at least he is challenging on himself. He's not challenging because, hey, let's just swarm you with minions. It's like, oh, Claw himself is a challenge. So that's why I liked him. So that's my number 6.
Yeah, when we get to my number of him, I have a couple other things to bring up. But
perfect.
I'll save it for that.
Cool.
All right, my number, what are we doing?
6.
6?
I think, for you.
My number 6 was another one that I could be higher than this. I just went off of one play, and it was at 1 o'clock. Last night, and that's Red Skull.
Okay.
I played him out of the campaign setting, so I know that that's going to take it down a little bit. But I kind of put, and this is kind of in the middle, I guess. 6 is kind of middle-ish.
Sure.
I like his play with everything's about the side scheme.
Yeah.
He gets more powerful the more side schemes that are out, and side schemes are just a pain in the ass anyway. So it just turns into a shit show of stuff, and I did not beat him.
No, he's
with my Justice Iron Man.
He is rough.
But it is just, the minions are solid, but the side schemes, God, I've never seen so many side schemes of different varieties pop out.
It's like a 30-card deck, and 29 of them are side schemes. One of them's like a gun. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck are these?
Yeah, so
Red Skull gets +7 attack for each side scheme. Well, there's 30 in play, so I think we lost.
Well, and I lost to him just playing on normal level.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know how much of that was me just being tired at the time and after playing 6 different
villains. Yeah,
but yeah, I could see the potential in him, and I'm really looking forward to playing him, not doing him.
Red Skull.
Playing him in the campaign for
he's a little bit easier in the campaign because you it's really cool with the 5 the mini campaign because you get some little upgrade cards like some special abilities for your hero as you progress, and so that does help. But yeah, he is I was really pleased with his final because he's the final boss. Right. I was really pleased with him because it could have easily face planted because it's just Red Skull, but I thought the side schemes worked really well.
Oh yeah, and it's solid. I just, like I said, I haven't played it as much. I want to try him in the campaign deal. I enjoyed him. He's just hard as hell right now, and the ones above him, I had a lot more fun. Playing. I've played them more than once.
Yeah,
so
neat.
That's why I kind of have it where it's at.
Okay, cool. All right, my number 5. This is where the 5 and up are sevens and above. And this one was weird because I've played against him, well, obviously in the mini campaign, and then I played him actually recently, and I'm like, this is just a cool villain, and that's Taskmaster. Taskmaster, and I have a stroke every time I try to say his fucking name. You know what? He's down to 0. I hate him. He's a 7 out of 10 because what's really cool is he is thematically like tied to kind of who he is. He's like, I think he's just a regular guy. But in terms of like a Spider-Man villain, he's like incredibly tactful. He's and a lot of his cards, like one of the cards that I think is just a asshole card is like Mimicry, where it's like, oh, if you deal damage to Taskmaster, instead deal that damage to someone else, and I'm like, what? I have a 10 damage card here. Yeah. And his big shtick is he has captured heroes, and the heroes are like it's like Shang Li, White Tiger. Oh man, there's one that
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, that's it.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is that there's those side schemes out, and you put the captured here, and you don't know which one. And if you get rid of that, it comes to your hand. Similar to, I don't remember who you said also does that.
Say it again.
Like the captured heroes that whenever you do the side scheme, they pop into your hand.
Zola.
Yeah. But what's cool is that these heroes are 0 cost, so they're allies that you can just do for free for rescuing them. I thought that was really cool. The fact that he also gets like a sword and shield, and like he once again stacks up by himself to be able to be a formidable opponent. And I guess Steam ended up coming into this a little bit more than I thought subconsciously, because I think because he's such a smart character, he doesn't fight people one-on-one without knowing everything about them. So I thought that was pretty cool. I think Taskmaster is one that, given like he's kind of like the Batman of the villains. He can, if given enough prep time, he can probably do enough to take out some of the stronger heroes. So I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed it. It feels good to rescue a hero and immediately get to play them for free, because allies are kind of broken in this, because it's like, oh, you're doing 100 damage. No, my 1 health ally will absorb all of that. Yes. Hence why they damage themselves when you use them, which I think is a good balancing mechanism there. But it just feels good. You're like, yay, oh, hell yeah, it's Moon Knight. I don't know anything about him, but Moon Knight's cool. And then you play him for free, and then they have like a win-played ability. I enjoyed him. I thought he was going to be kind of lame coming into the mini campaign, but he was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Taskmaster's pretty. I like his attitude.
Yeah,
Whenever you see him, like, in the Spider-Man on the PS4.
Yes.
When he's in the park forcing you to do all that stuff.
Right.
Some of his comments crack me up.
Yeah. He's kind of like, he's like a serious. I don't want to say serious Deadpool, because that sounds wrong, but he's an asshole. Yeah. And so I like him. So that's my number 5. All
right, my number 5 is another one that it's a crossover.
Oh, it's a Crossbones. Wow, get out of my house.
Crossbones fits that deal. And I've explained him to somebody before, saying that he is the better, more complex version of Rhino.
Oh,
in a weird way. I mean, he's in a weird way. I'm not meaning because he's pretty straightforward, but he's a lot more strong. He's a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
But those experimental weapons, you've got to handle.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
if you don't handle those experimental weapons, they get wild. Because I can't remember what all. There's retaliate. I think there's plus attacks and schemes, and I can't remember, discarding a card out of your hand. I don't know. Something. When they're all 4 out, you're just screwed.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a really. They made a good choice of throwing him as the opening character. Because I mean that's why he's kind of like the Rhino. Because I mean he's like the first person in the campaign box, you know. So he's a little more straightforward, even though he has those cards that pops out and stuff.
Well, I think also in the campaign, if I'm not mistaken, whichever experimental weapons come out, those reoccur. So, like, in the campaign, it's pretty cool because you want to have them not have those, but if you beat them and some of them did come out, then they go back into the...
Yeah, they're back in the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, I enjoyed him in here. You know, some of these villains that they've picked, you never would have get. I mean, there's so many other villains that they haven't introduced yet.
Yeah.
It's like you're getting all these weird ones that...
Now, here, if they do X-Men or
excuse me,
Fantastic Four, they better do Doctor Doom, because Doctor Doom
Doom will be. If they do Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom for sure is going to have to be in there.
He is insane. Like, I know a little bit, actually, about Doctor Doom, and he would be really cool. So, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, there's so much potential to this game.
Yeah.
And that's why we're saying, like, their ranking, like... these are all still fun, but when you isolate them, like Rhino is a perfect match against Spider-Man, like to play him against, and so if you match them with their corresponding, heroes, then like Rhino would be probably like a 6, maybe a 7 against certain heroes. So yeah, like you mentioned at the beginning, this is a very fluctuating list. All right. Sorry, did you have anything else to say about Crossbones?
Nope,
all right,
that's
cool.
it.
My number 4 was, I actually was very surprised this was your least favorite. My number 4 is Wrecking Crew.
Okay.
And the reason why they're higher for me is they are the villain that I've played the most, because they are my test.
Gotcha.
And the reason why they're higher, they are lame as hell. They are fucking prisoners. This is like, oh man, I have a wrench, and it's like, or a fucking crowbar. And it's like, wow. But this is why I think they work and why they're a 7.5 out of 10. Is because each of them, they are the perfect way to test a deck, in my opinion. Because they each attack you in multiple different ways. One of them makes you discard cards. One of them does extra damage if you don't defend. One of them has retaliate. One of them, I'm missing what one of them does.
Oh gosh.
One of them has high scheme. One of them has high attack. So they are basically, okay, well, hey, this villain, this solo villain, he doesn't do this well. Claw doesn't really get rid of your deck. But one of the guys in the Wrecking Crew does. And I very much enjoy that you have to divide and conquer what your hero does. I mentioned what I really like about villains is how they make you change how you're going to play. And I think the Wrecking Crew does that extremely well, because it's like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, crap. Okay, well, if I do that, then that means this person's going to go ahead and start attacking. Ugh. And, of course, as you take one of them out, then they become weaker. Because, they don't have this person left who has to retaliate. And so some of them, and their total health is different. So it's like, okay, well, I can do 8 damage right now. Oh, I'm just going to attack this one and get him out of the way. So I think that out of probably everyone, they are the most versatile because of how each of them do a different thing. But I also agree with you that they are extremely fiddly and probably the most complex. Because you do have to manage 4 different decks. It would be like, okay, let's take Zola, Crossbones, Ultron, and Rhino and just fight those 4.
Right.
Can you do that? Would you be able to play? No.
I don't think. I mean.
Huh. I guess not. I mean, because all the well, I don't know. There's probably someone out there who made a rule set to where you can take different villains and fight against them. But yeah, so Wrecking Crew, while thematically they're lame as hell and couldn't beat a single person in Heroes, I really like how they play. So that's my number 4.
All right, my number 4 is another crossover, obviously,
Ooh.
and that is Taskmaster. That we
Okay.
just talked about a little bit ago.
Neat.
This guy was a blast to play against. It was a fun deck to play against. Still challenging though.
Yeah.
You know, I like well, pretty much what you'd said. I mean, I'd just be reiterating what you said. He is smart, you know, with him dealing with your players and your minions and stuff like that. It's a good. I liked him in the campaign, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, having him as that, because he's the last one I did in the campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, you know,
He's
and
like a
stuff,
perfect
and-
middle. Because
Right.
he's the third one, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just a fun one to have in there. You know, you think about all the villains in that box. You know, when you go from Crossbones, Absorbing Man,
Taskmaster.
then Zola, then that. You know, it's kind of a weird mix of stuff.
It really is.
But you know, as the rankings go, obviously,
But I think they're all affiliated with Hydra, maybe?
you know, yeah, they
Yeah,
are.
that's kind of the main theme.
See, I was surprised because I don't know about. I guess Taskmaster is. I never.
Yeah,
knew,
well,
I never knew Taskmaster was Taskmaster.
If I understand right, I feel like he's a mercenary.
Okay.
So it's like
yeah, he could be then.
he could have just been paid off.
Right.
I know they do a little bit of like comic strips to kind of tie in the different villains, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. So I mean, and I enjoyed him enough that he's my favorite out of that box.
Yeah.
You know, over so far. You know.
Oh yeah, true.
Of stuff. So.
Yeah, because you mentioned all the other ones, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So he
And
would be your favorite.
with the potential of those other ones growing too. I mean,
Sure.
that's the more I get him.
If I had to guess, the campaign doesn't do much to I feel to probably make you change Zola or Red Skull. Maybe Red Skull might go up one. I don't. I feel like at this point Taskmaster might still be your favorite.
Right.
I don't think Zola is going to be like, oh wow, the comic strip made him super cool, because he still plays really the same way. You just might have a little bonus card or something.
Right. So yeah, Taskmaster falls in at 4. You know, he's a fun one to play against for sure.
All right.
And it's not super complex either.
No,
You know,
not at all. He's a really interesting. Like, he's challenging, but he's not stupid hard, and he's kind of what you said about Crossbones. He's a pretty good intro. I played Wasp and Ant-Man with a friend of mine who never played before, and we played against Taskmaster because I guess he was a villain to them at one point. So,
Right.
And it was really cool. I mean, we completely demolished him because it was Ant-Man and Wasp who, I mean, are weirdly super strong. So, all right, my number 3 is one that you mentioned just a little bit ago, and that is Red Skull. Red Skull got an 8 out of 10 for me. I love his side schemes. I think that makes him, one, incredibly thematic, because he himself is not super strong, but he's kind of, hey, I'm the leader of Hydra, so it makes sense that I have all these little plots and things to try and take over. The fact that his main schemes come out that you have to deal with, it's like, oh, Red Skull can't take any damage, and it's like, oh, great! But it's really cool because, yeah, most of his deck is side schemes.
Yes.
And like you said, side schemes are a pain in the ass, because it's like, great, okay, well, now the main threat is accelerating, and there's 3 of those out there, so... And how he gets more powerful based off what's happening and the side schemes that you have to deal with. Like I said, he is one of the best out there that make you change how you want to play. Like, oh, we could attack him, but at the end of my turn, I'm drawing 2 more encounter cards. And he's going to attack me, and he's going to get +4 because of these side schemes that are out. Yeah, he is extremely hard to fight against. But at the same time, I've never played against him solo. I played him with Cat, as with Spider-Woman and Hawkeye. So yeah, he is versatile depending on the number of side schemes that are coming out, depending on what side schemes are coming out. So he has some pretty high replayability. And I thought he was a great final boss in the campaign. So that's my number 3, Red Skull.
Good deal. My number 3, you've already mentioned, so it's a crossover.
Oh, wow, man. That was way forced. Claw at number
Claw.
3?
Yes, I love Claw.
Stupid
Like, I
Claw
almost
Soul.
had him at 2. Like,
Wow.
it was super close. Claw is just a blast because of his minions are those Masters of Evil minions are so damn strong. They come out and they're 5 and 6 health.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I can't remember their names right now, but those minions, because you know when you the initial scheme, you know, you discard cards off the deck till you get a minion, and it's automatically hooked into you. So there's some super strong minions that pop out. And then I really like his villain ability, where he, you know, his first version he has 0 attack, but you do 2 boost cards when he does attack.
Oh yeah.
You know, or extra boost card, I guess.
Sure.
So then it's unpredictable because he has cards in his deck that have 3 boosts.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's like you could take 5 damage. You could, you know, you may take nothing.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like unpredictable. So it's a fun one to play against because you have to always be on your, you know, or scheming. I mean, like either one. The boost is the big thing. And then when you move into his second version, he has 1 attack, but he still has that extra boost.
That's true.
So it's like, so you know, it's fun because it's that shit. You know, the anticipation. Are we going to get fucked up?
Yeah.
Or are we going to get, you know? So it's that excitement is why I have him up there. He
would be really cool to play against with Scarlet Witch because she does a lot of like mitigation of those boosts. Like, you know, a boost card comes out, you can raise or lower it by 1 and stuff like that. So that would be pretty interesting.
And then I can't remember what the name of the card is. It's his little sonic hand weapon that comes out.
I think that's it. Sonic hand weapon.
Oh, well, awesome. How about that?
No, that's not. I have no idea. His sonic boom.
But anyway, that thing is like if he has that attached, every time he attacks you, you're automatically stunned.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So it's you're taking the damage plus you are disabled. You know, with a stun and stuff. Yeah. That's one of those things you can spend cards to get rid of it.
Sure.
You know, and stuff, which sucks because your cards are your, you know, currency or play cards and stuff too. I guess, you know, but yeah, he's just I just like him because he's challenging, like you said, you know, he's challenging on his own.
Yes.
But he also has a super strong minions.
I forgot about those minions. Those
minions are tough.
Here's the thing, though.
6 health and 5 health.
I still wouldn't put him above Taskmaster, but so he'd stay where he's at. But yeah, you're right. I'll give him a little bit more credit. I'll give him a 7. I'll raise him from a 6.5 to a 7. I forgot about those minions because when we were fighting him, when they came out, it's just like
it's like this drops right on you, and it's like,
hey, Iron Man, you got your fucking suit yet? Like, I can only do 1 damage.
Yeah. So and not just only that, a lot. There's a couple of them that come out with toughness.
Oh yeah.
So they're
right.
at 6 health and their toughness. So you have to plink them.
If it wasn't for Black Widow's high versatility with all our gadgets, we probably because we barely squeaked out of the win.
Yeah, that was expert level.
Yeah,
Claw. It was tough. But anyway, I really enjoy him. And like I said, he was so close to moving into number 2. And we'll talk about that later. But yeah, Claw's my number 3. He's a cool.
All right, good deal. My number 2, once again, I was surprised was lower on your list. I think it was your second lowest, and that is Absorbing Man.
Oh, so my bottom 2
were my it was so no because my number 3 was Red Skull.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, still my bottom 2 or your bottom 2 were high up.
I think we're gonna have the flip flop too here in a second.
We are, which is funny. Yep, because I can see the 2 that you haven't mentioned yet. That is so funny. I thought Absorbing Man was fucking cool. Because he had so many cards in his deck that based off the environment that happened to come out would alter, because it's like, oh, here's one card, and depending on the traits he has, this is what he's doing. I think that that's really cool. One, it was extremely thematic because in the campaign you're chasing, so you have to fight him, and then like he thought in all these different environments. It gave me some insight to what, because I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Absorbing Man? Wait, he just absorbs moisture? Yeah, he's a sponge. You just throw water on him. But he ended up being pretty badass. I also, this did not play into my ranking of this at all, but he had some really cool art, which is one thing that we actually have not mentioned in any of these. The art for Marvel Champions, I think, is pretty badass. Anyway, Absorbing Man, I thought he was extremely versatile because of, this environment is out, so that's going to affect and give him, it's rock, so now he has high toughness, he gets toughness, or he has higher defense, or whatever it was. okay, he has this type of element, so now he's going to do extra damage. He has both of those out, because I think the environments are like the schemes, or there's ways to actually get rid of them. And so it was like, okay, crap, he has these 3 traits out, so whenever those cards come out, he's going to have all of those attached to him, so now he's even stronger. I thought he was really cool. He got an 8 out of 10 for me. I think he's a little bit better than Red Skull because of that really cool trait mechanic. While Red Skull is definitely way more challenging. I think you mentioned Absorb Man was very easy. He is. I don't think...
Right.
But I do think that's more of a problem. Kind of like Rhino. Rhino's easy, but if you give him like the extra level up, then he's still a challenge. Probably Absorbing Man is the same way. And I've played him as in the campaign only. But at that point, I don't think you have any upgrades to fight against him. I don't think you get an upgrade until maybe after him. But I thought he was cool. I mean, his name is dumb as hell, but
you can always tell the old comic book characters
based off their names. Yeah. It's always something man. Yeah. So it's. I mean, once again, he makes you change how you're playing against him because of the different traits and the way that the environments will come out randomly and different will change the way he's going to play. So I thought he was relatively challenging enough on his own. So that's my number 2, Absorbing Man.
All right,
tell me why you like the Green Goblin.
Number 2 is Ultron.
Damn it.
Number 2 is Ultron. I like super difficult. That's probably the first thing. But I enjoy because being a Netrunner person, I like the whole milling stuff. So I'm used to being milled. I like milling people. So then when all my cards are going in face down and you're losing the possibilities of your stuff, and then the faster he does that, then when you have to reshuffle, then there's extra events and stuff. So it's really difficult, but I like having the board set up. That's why I like Iron Man. I like having the board present. So then when you start having all those minions popping out there, and then if you with Iron Man having the multiple attacks that you can do and stuff, you can wipe more of them out and everything. I do get what you say. I mean, it's kind of it doesn't fit Ultron.
I mean, it does, but
right.
But they only went with the drones part, not Ultron himself, which was a little disappointing.
But the actual table presence itself is what I'm putting this in as, because I like how you can visually see all this stuff coming out and everything, and then his minions that he has.
His main schemes are cool.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, and the last his own personal minions that aren't your cards that turn into drones. I can't remember what they're called, but the ones that's more powerful. Yeah, those kind of suck. He's just a hard guy to beat. Like I've lost to him more than I've beat him. Sure. Just because it's overwhelming on stuff. You need to have like an area like an aerial attack. Yeah, Thor, I think would be great against that stuff, because all those drones that you put out are one scheme, one attack, one health. I think so. It's just you could clean them out. Oh yeah, and everything pretty quick.
Quicksilver wasn't bad. I actually I lost to Ultron. He had like maybe 5 health left before he eventually beat me, because I played Quicksilver, so I just got shot by a regular bullet and died. Not the fastest man in the world. He couldn't literally run faster than they move and just flick him away, but whatever. Watch WandaVision. The better Quicksilver is that's a spoiler. That's my bad. Anyway,
but it's like Claw and Ultron. My 2 and 3 are both core box heroes. I've played against them tons more than anything as well. Right. Well, besides Rhino, but that's why I said it was really close, because Claw was more interesting than Ultron, but Ultron's board presence, it was almost like a 2A and 2B.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I like Claw better than Ultron. Ultron is at the bottom. It's just, I mean, because we mentioned theme, I feel like they missed the mark with Ultron. they show Ultron's power only in his main scheme, really, because I feel like if I'm not mistaken, his very last one is a timer that it goes down and eventually will.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but I feel like it's like to total annihilation.
I played so many villains last night. I can't remember.
They're all blended together. Does Ultron absorb elements? I don't remember. But yeah, I was just like, really, more? I just have more fucking drones. Okay, all right. I guess that's that. I don't know. Maybe he'd be better if I played him with someone else, other than Quicksilver. So, all right. Well, can you guess my number one?
Kang.
Kang.
Yeah.
Dude, Kang, that is easily the best one.
Oh, no, like I said, it's the most.
I don't remember where he was for you. I think
he was
like
my 7, and
he was your 7.
It's because of the multiplayer.
I do agree with you there.
Was...
He would be way better if you play him with multiple people because of that very reason. But man, he is like I mentioned, he's a 9 out of 10. I very much liked him. I thought that out of everyone, he had his regular Kang where he shows up and then he teleports you to these different periods of time and you have to deal with that yourself. And then once you beat that, then you come back and then you fight him where he's just like, oh, by the way, while you were gone, I am now a conqueror with my massive ship. You can't damage me. And yeah, I thought that was just extremely cool. The fact that, oh, okay, you're playing with 4, you're playing, oh, hey, we're working together. Now we're not. Like, we have to deal with our own thing to isolate them where it's like, crap, I'm kind of better when I'm with someone. Now I have to deal with this type of Kang. With his version 2s are all, like, unique on their own. And then, yeah, then you come back together for the final climactic battle. He blew me away because I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. The once in future Kang.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. I mean, I'm gonna have everything. I guess I'll try him. And I was blown away. Out of everyone here, there's very few villains that warrant, in my opinion, wanting to play with another person. Besides just wanting to see the synergy between the heroes. Mm-hmm. Like, none of these villains, Absorber Man and down, none of them are like, oh, I want to play with another player to see how we work against this villain. It's more, you play with this to see the synergy with the heroes. Kang is the only one that doesn't do that. So, yeah, and he's challenging by himself. He once again, it's not a shit ton of minions. Now, they all have minions, of course. But weirdly enough, a lot of them actually, Zola, Green Goblin, and Ultron, oh, maybe not a lot. Those 3 weirdly are just like, hey, here's a bunch of minions. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of lame once I realized that. But yeah, Kang was just fucking cool. So, and challenging and unique and made you play different depending on which version you got.
Right. And
made you want to play multiplayer. So, yeah, he basically hit the nail on the head for all of those. So that's my number 1, Kang.
Perfect.
All right, tell me why Green Goblin is your number 1 as I spit everywhere.
Green Goblin.
That is surprising. I thought he was going to
I told you it was going to be controversial. It's having the 2 scenarios helps out a lot.
Sure.
That's why I kept asking you if we were going to split or not. Because,
okay.
Because my favorite of the 2 is the Risky Business.
It is, yeah, definitely the better one out of the 2.
Which is also an unpopular opinion. A lot of people say the other one is the only one to play, the mutagen one. So I know, but
he's just like Zola, Ultron, and the rest of them. Oh, hey, there's a bunch of goblins.
So, I think it has to do with the schemes on the mutagen one more than that, because
I guess, yeah,
that's the one with the mutagen bomb or
where regular people are turning into goblins. Yeah.
So anyway,
don't get me wrong, Greek Goblin's cool.
Right.
I like him as a villain. I like the dynamic between Norman, who was, I think, wasn't he kind of a good guy, or was he just
started off and then he went mad, he went crazy because he was creating this stuff for the military.
Oh,
and then he was losing his funding on it because he wasn't getting the results, and he tested it on.
Do you know how much I've sacrificed?
Then he tested it on himself.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then that's how it, and then it took over.
Yeah.
On
Okay.
Himself. So anyway, but Risky Business one I really like because I like that you can create, because it's a timing thing. Like when you have what's the name of it? Corporate
Corporate Enterprise.
Corporate Enterprise, yeah. You have that out, and you have these counters on it that as he schemes, it's going to go down, right? So then once that card runs out, then it flips the Green Goblin. There's a when revealed effect takes place.
Yeah, it deals 4
direct
damage.
It's 3 to start with. His level.
Oh, okay.
It's level 4 after that.
It's three direct damage to each hero.
Right, which sucks.
It is, that's pretty rough.
Especially when when level 2's 4 damage when you flip, and a lot of these heroes are 9 health.
Yeah,
and stuff. So anyway, but when he flips, then you have the madness. I think it was something madness card.
Yeah,
and then it's a ticking deal. So whenever he attacks, it goes down.
No, you got it backwards.
Yeah,
with the Criminal Enterprise, funny enough, when Norman attacks, he increases the Criminal Enterprise, so it absorbs the damage.
Right.
And then the Green Goblin, when he schemes, it goes down.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what it was. Sorry, flip flop.
You're good.
But it's a timing thing, because you can't stay. Your whole hero alter ego thing, you need to time it right.
Oh yeah.
To be able to go. So if it's getting close to the deal, you need to be ready to do your flip flop, and it's just created. Like I said, he's the only villain that has the alter ego flip card. So it's a unique thing with the risky business, of course. Is it, the mutagen part is just a straightforward, just minion bash. I picture the whole the old Batman. With Jack Nicholson was putting out the gas into Gotham, and people were going mad and stuff.
Okay. I don't think I've ever seen that one. I don't think I've ever seen Jack Nicholson's Joker.
But anyway,
me too.
He leaked gas out in the sound, and people were going nuts and crazy. So that was that's what I picture with this. But he there's just a lot of minion stuff going. They're turning. He also has his actual minions that are it's just I like both of them. Most people like the mutagen better. I like the risky business better because of the whole playing of
I'd probably say the risk stuff. I kind of felt with the risk or the risky business, his level 2 having that much health was just kind of a little obscene,
which I only play solo, so 36 isn't
true.
But this is when another one of those things, like you never want to play this with more than two
2
people, because you imagine playing 4.
72 oh god, I don't know, maybe it's fun. I mean granted, I can only imagine it wouldn't be fun, because it's kind of like with Street Masters. It's like, well, the only thing that changes is the health, and it just prolongs the game. But maybe the synergy between 4 heroes is cool.
I'm not going to do it that way.
I probably
won't play more than 2 people.
Yeah.
I'm strongly of the opinion this was either meant to be a solo only, solo 2-handed, or a 2-player game.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Anything more than that you might as well play along, drawn out.
I mean, because it's exactly. It's like Arkham Horror. It's like it's a solo or 2-player game. I don't know why they just didn't do that with this one, but it's interesting. Both of our number ones were scenario packs that were released. So the Green Goblin pack, that was actually the first one?
Yeah, it was the very first one. It came out right after it came out.
Yeah. And then Kang is the newest scenario villain pack.
I haven't heard of any other scenario packs.
I think that's their bread and butter. They feel more creative. Even Green Goblin, that ended up being number 9 for me, was a 6 out of 10. And it was still creative. Don't get me wrong. And Kang was my favorite. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see where they go. It was, I will say, 5 out of the 11, 5 of them I thought were really good. The rest were okay. Yeah. It was actually, it wasn't like this list was way easier to make than the heroes. The heroes, I was just like, oh man, okay, 7 of them are so good.
Right.
They're so much fun to play. And I don't know how I'm going to rank them. Here I was just like, okay, yep, that's easy. So it was actually kind of interesting to see how lame a lot of the villains were, for me anyway.
They kind of have to make them, if you think about it, they kind of have to make them somewhat that way. I mean, just because of all the different heroes they create.
True.
And he needs to be something.
They can't be so specific because then, okay, he's so specific, therefore I'm going to play this hero who will just wipe the floor with him.
So I wonder if they'll ever come out with like a booster, like booster stuff, like that may add like whatever the schemes, or whatever for other older villains,
like the schemes,
the side schemes, or the deals. You know, like what are they called? The
status cards? Is that right?
No, the cards, the things you're trying to get.
Oh yeah, schemes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I thought you were going a different direction.
No. Like
sorry, just
because those are like the theme of the scenario.
Yes.
You almost wonder if they're ever come out with like some extra schemes for the villains that are already out, just to kind of add a little more story. Like, oh, this is more Ultron schemes, or more, just to kind of make you go back to those characters again.
Right. It's interesting because with Marvel Champions, you see a lot of correlation with the way this plays and the way Arkham Horror LCG plays. But this one is, I feel like it's almost more in a similar vein to the Lord of the Rings one because it's just almost one-offs. Like, pick a villain, pick a hero, fight. Whereas Arkham Horror is a campaign that has dynamic story changes.
Right.
And I think that's kind of what they're doing with the little boxes, the mini campaigns. That while they're very linear, there's no, we lost a Blur Man, so therefore this happened. There's none of that. But you do progress a little bit throughout the campaign. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I do definitely feel like it's called Marvel Champions, so it makes sense that all the creativity is going into the heroes, hence why they just keep releasing heroes. But at the same time, you have to have someone to fight against, so having creative villains would also be really good.
Well, there's all these people online that are trying to convince these guys to make a PvP version of this game, and it's like, no,
God, no,
no PvP,
so fucking stupid. Yeah, I guess it'd be cool. Hey, but it's like no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to fight against people with this. There's already too many PvP games out there anyway.
Exactly.
All right, so that is our ranking for the current villains. Once again, this is up to the Rise of Red Skull. So 11 villains. We will probably be doing with the Guardians, the Galaxy's Most Wanted, I think is what it's called. We'll probably do another hero ranking list. That should give us enough to rank, and then probably later on down the road do another. Well, no, we probably won't do another villain one for a while because that would only leave.
Yeah, there's only going to be the ones that's in.
If they do it like the same, there'll probably be 5 more, which is still a lot of villains to come out in one box because they're only going to get the 2 heroes.
I would guess a scenario pack's going to be announced soon.
Yeah.
Since I think Gamora was the newest hero that they announced.
So we'll probably do another villain one when we have a similar number, 10 or 11, to do. But yeah, so let us know what you think. Let us know what your favorite villains are in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.